Molecular clocks allow scientists to use the amount of genetic divergence between organisms to extrapolate backwards to estimate dates.
Okay, maybe this example of circular reasoning is as good as the last. Here's how it works. We assume evolution has happened over millions and millions of years. Do you see how many of these proofs for evolution require you to believe evolution at the start? Then we take two animals on the phylogenetic charts, see speculative guesswork, and then we see how different the two animals are genetically, divided by the number of years our chart says it's been since those two animals began their evolutionary walk away from each other. This gives us the rate at which they've been evolving. Or we can find some rate of mutation happening today, assume it's been the same for millions of years, even though, by definition, mutations are random. Then, based on our guessing tree, figure out how long it would take to get as many differences as exist between the two different kinds of animal. Let me clarify again. If you start with the evolutionary assumptions based on unobserved speculative guesswork, you can figure out how fast DNA changes, if your assumptions are correct, and use that to date the amount of time the evolution you started out assuming is fact has allegedly been going on. Do I even need to explain why this isn't science? Let me hit you with a Fabu metaphor. We are in the desert, watching a turtle walk along, and I say, "It's amazing! This turtle is 1,000 years old!"
How do you know?
By observing this turtle, we can see that over the course of a year, his cumulative migration is westward. During his various activities all year, he tends to move more west than east. Thus, each year he moves his home a mile further west.
Yes. That turtle lived a mile east of here last year, and a mile east of it the prior year.
Yes. And because we know he started on the east coast, 1,000 miles from here, we know he is 1,000 years old.
Hold on. How do we know he started on the east coast?
Because he's been moving west for 1,000 years. At this point, even the turtle rolls his eyes. Before we leave molecular clocks, let me point out something which they will be addressing in a few chapters. Or rather, they will be glossing over. There are species which do not change at all for long periods, as they interpret the fossil record. We call this stasis, and we call those species living fossils. The horseshoe crab, for instance, has apparently not changed, on the evolutionary model and timescale, for 500 million years. Whatever assumptions you need to make to use the molecular clocks mean nothing when a 500 million-year-old crab goes walking by. It seems that clock has a massive snooze button, and this crab has been pounding that button for eons.